Hey everybody, Danny Maude here. Thanks for joining us. How often do you find yourself out on the golf course with your driver and you're putting what you feel is exactly the same golf swing on it every single time, but you're getting different results? 1 minute you hit it straight, the next minute it goes to the right or the left, or you top it along the ground. What do? Because if you can't feel the difference between the good and the bad, how are you supposed to solve your driver? How are you supposed to get consistency with it? You need a system to develop the feel so that you can become a much better driver of the ball. And if you struggle on a golf course, you can cure it. I gave what I'm going to teach you today, this system, to a friend of mine actually who's struggling with his driver, and it made a big difference in literally just about 15 minutes. There's just 3 skills you need to learn. I'm going to share with you what those are in this week's video. Before I get into the video, look though, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first videos of mine, please consider subscribing. Just press that little bell button, next subscribe button, you get notified every time I release a video just like this one. Plus, you won't have to remember a thing. I'll always put a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. Great, so by the end of this video, I really want you to be able to coach yourself. So you don't have to rely on people like me or other coaches. You need to be able to kind of figure out, be a great problem solver and really learn your swing so you can start to become a much better driver of the golf ball. So the very first 3 skills you need to learn. The first skill that all great drivers have is they hit up on the golf ball. It's one of the ways that they hit it so far. And to hit up on the golf ball, what you've got to be able to do is you've got to get the low point of this arc. If you look at the club here, the club goes up, comes down to a low point, and then goes back up again. You need to be able to catch the ball on the way up, so the low point must be slightly behind the ball in order to do that, right? So the first thing I want you to do is this. A lot of people understand this, but how do you know whether you are doing it? Well, you need to put a feedback station in place. So this is skill number 1. So all I want you to do, grab a box of balls, you could use even a tee peg, you could use a bottle of water, place it 8, 9, 10 inches in front of the golf ball, somewhere along those lines here. That'd be absolutely fine. And then all I'm going to get you to do as a feedback station here is assess where your low point is. If your low point, like Leo researching, if your low point is too far after the golf ball, so you're coming down steep on it, and this is what happens to 80+% of golfers, particularly if you slice, by the way, is you are going to hit the ball, you're going to smash that box, and this is the disaster for your driver. You won't hit it very far, and you certainly won't hit it very straight. So we want to hit up on the golf ball with a low point behind. So let's just test where my low point is. Don't have to have any big shots initially if you want, but just take a fairly nice easy swing. And let's just see, I'll probably hit that 230, 240 with that. Low point, here you go, look. There we go, 8.5 behind the golf ball. So my low point is 8.5 inches behind the low point with that swing there. That's going to get me hitting up on the golf ball comfortably and create maybe even a little draw. So that's the first thing I want you to do. Now, with Leo, he struggled with this initially. So what we did was we said, right, develop the skill first before you move on to the next stage. Everyone wants to hit driver long. Everyone wants to hit driver straight, but learning in a very systematic way, and you will be able to do that. So take a tee peg here, and all I want you to do here is this. Look at that tee peg, and I want you to basically imagine hitting the tee peg over the box. That's all I want you to do. So strike the tee peg out the ground and basically swing over the box. By me hitting the tee peg proves that I've actually hit the ball. Secondly, I've missed the box. It means that I've gone on an upward arc. So the low point will have been behind the golf ball. Big tip for me. When Leo did this to start off with, he naturally hit the box. Wonderful too. Why? Because then you have some feedback which you can go with, yeah? So take your time, hit tee pegs out of the ground, just simply missing that box. Once you're doing that consistently, you're ready now to kind of add the second skill into this process. So let's just turn TrackMan back on. So you clearly now don't just want to hit up on the ball, you want to start to develop some kind of way of hitting it nice and straight. So again, you can grab a couple of boxes. I'm going to put them either side here. You can use tee pegs if you're out on the golf course, or just visualize it, whatever it might be. So we're going to put a tee peg in the ground, and you've now got the feel of the head working upwards. But you now need to feel the direction of where that head actually travels. Because if you're slicing the golf ball, your head is traveling where? This side of the golf ball for right-handers, to the left of the target. And that means you're not particularly au fait of getting the club swinging more that way. You need to learn the feel of that. if you hook the golf ball, you're pretty good at swinging the club this way, but maybe can't develop the feel of swinging this way. And this is important because skill development number 2, I like to call is tuning the radio. Remember the old-fashioned radios where you kind of get the frequency? Well, somewhere in the middle of this is straight, so you need to feel what it's like to swing over there. If you can't feel that, how do you tune the radio? You don't know where to tune it to. Does that make sense? If you slice a golf ball example, again, if you're great at this area, but you can't feel the club going over here, you're never going to be able to tune it to hit it straight. Yeah? So the next skill is simply this. Using the golf ball, you've now got the idea of hitting up on the ball. We keep those boxes in play. Now what we're going to do is start to get the sense of, can you, on a driving range, hit the ball comfortably like this, look, swing it, and actually get the ball setting off to your right of your target. So I'll just hit a shot here. Nice and gently to start with. Notice I'm no big swings, I'm just tapping over there. Can I get it to the right? Yes, I can. Big tick in the box, yeah? Now I'm a natural drawer of the golf ball, so that's easy for me to do, yeah? But you know what? I might find it tricky to swing to the left, but let's have a look. But all the time, look, I'm keeping the low point behind the golf ball. So I get myself set here, watch this. So swing back and can I swing left? Is the club path going to go left? Yes, it is. 5 minus 5.6, got it left. And I'm still, look, low points behind the ball. So I'm getting a feel, so I'm tuning the radio. Now I've got a feel of these directions, okay? I've now got a way of tuning this radio so I can start to hit it a little bit straighter. Let's have a look at this. So somewhere in the middle of those two now, again, no big shots at this stage, I'm going to feel where straight is. Let's have a look at this one in action. Look at that, 1.6, so just a little bit, but almost perfect, yeah? Still behind the golf ball. Again, no big shots, but I'm starting now to tune this radio. Now I've got a feel of where that head is traveling to my right, to my left, and somewhere in the middle is straight. You need to develop this skill in order for you to become a great driver of the golf ball, yeah? Now, all this can be done on a driving range to start with. Once you've done that, you can then gradually move on to this next stage, which is simply this. You now need to get control of the club face. So if we look at this here, this is still pretty good for me, but you might find that 1 minute you've got too much slice on it, yeah? So what I want you to do is you need to be great at tuning in the face. If you slice it, you need to be much better at feeling what it's like to close the face. Almost like, look at my left hand here. Turning the knuckles down, turning the screwdriver, okay? Or maybe you hook the golf ball. You might have to feel like you're better at kind of keeping the face, rolling it this way, feeling like the face is open a bit more. You need to get this feeling, whatever it might be for you. But we're now moving on to skill 3, which is we've got the path, we've got the upward motion. Can we now start to add in the feel of the club face closing down for you slicers, yeah? So I'm feeling it slowly to start with. Let's have a look at this in action again. So we're hoping this one's going to curve right to left for me, yeah? There it goes, look at this. Starting to get those paths, starting to get the ball hooking, curving. Why is it important? Again, developing a feel, yeah? All these things is really, really important for eventually when we learn to hit the ball straighter. So once I've done this, now you might find if you can't get the ball turning and you're trying, you're not allowed to move on to hitting it harder. You're not allowed to kind of move on. Why? Because it means you haven't developed the skill, yeah? So we go again, developing the sensation of turning. Now, I've got this bit, so I'm now going to try to get the ball curving the other way. We're going to see if we can create a little bit of a heart shape there. So see if I can get the ball now curving. No big shots at this stage, just tapping it down there, getting a feel of this club face. See if I can get that ball curving now, left to right through the air. There we go, look. Just tapping it down there. Wonderful. Now I've got the ball moving both ways. It means that, what have I got? I can open the face. I can close the face. I can set the ball off left. I can set the ball off right. I've got my low point. So now I know I can do those things. All I do is start to tune them in. Using that new feel of both, I need to build that frequency and start to get a sense of all this. And the great thing is these boxes here are always providing me the feedback station, so I never find myself quickly without realizing coming down steep on it, all right? So now start to tune myself in to try and find a little bit of straightness in between there. Okay, nice and soft still, no big shots. Just tapping it down there. Look at those numbers now, look, much, much straighter. I've still got, look, my low point. I've still got my club path. These are now much, much straighter. I'm at 246 in total. Now, I'm ready, because I've tuned in, I can now start to hit the ball much, much further. So start to now, and you might be saying, well, how do you add more power to this? Well, just like learning to throw a ball, once you've got the feel of how to throw it, what do? You amplify it, yeah? I'm just playing tennis, really, learning how to play tennis. And my first gut instinct when I to play tennis was, I'm like the pros, and I'm trying to play all these topspin shots with these aggressive motions. And it's like, why are you doing that? You know, you haven't learned the skill of actually playing the topspin shot. You've got to brush at the back of the ball. You've got to feel that motion first. Once you feel it, then you can amplify it. And that's what I want you to do now with driver. Once you've got the feel of the upward motion, the arc you want to take the ball on, whether it's to the right, feels more to the right for you, or more to the left, whatever it might be, you feel that frequency. Feel what you need to do with the face. Once you've got that feel, then look, we start to bit by bit amplify it. Bit by bit, over and over again. We might get to about 260 there. Okay, 270, okay, total. So nothing major still. But bit by bit, I amplify it and amplify it and amplify it until eventually we start to really get up to a little bit bottomy, that one. So again, not great, but 290 total. But look at these numbers. I've kept my low point behind the ball. Club path still really neutral. Distance starting to creep up bit by bit. And just look, in summary, let's put these two screens on. Look at the arc still. Low point behind, upward swing. You keep the skill going and you will start to learn too how to become a much, much better driver of the golf ball. But keeping this feedback station in, you will know exactly what you're doing wrong and therefore you'll know exactly how to cure it. So hit up on the ball, put the boxes in play. Skill 2, feel, tune in the radio. Feel what it's like to go over here. Feel what it's like to go over here. If you slice the golf ball, you'll find it very difficult to swing over this way, but easier to swing over here. You've got to tune that area in order to start to move it back and get the right frequency for hitting it much, much straighter, and vice versa if you hook. Once you've done that, you need to feel club face. Experiment with the closing of the face and the opening of the face. Tune those in. Then you'll start to truly get a feel of exactly how you rip driver much more consistently. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with one of your friends. And remember, there's a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below, so you never have to remember a thing. And of course, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first videos, please consider subscribing by pressing that little bell button. But until next week, have a great golfing week.